actual port or harbors constructed. Do you see? When you're having a deep sea port where the vessel drop the anchorage and cargo operations will happen then I mean, feeder vessels will bring the cargoes finally to the port or to shore. So at that place, that's where they apply this technology. But there are no fixed shore gantry cranes there, but they mount them on vessels and they use it for. So for instance, this vessel should be a gearless vessel. It has not got those own gear. So they will deploy the gantry cranes. When they finish, it will come back. They will remove them. It's not a permanent feature of the vessel. Yes. So our almighty reach stackers. You see, so these are the spreaders, this portion, and the length, this long one, up to here are the booms, the boom of the reach stacker. Okay, they are really modified to suit any cargo operation. Yes. So this whole machine is called the reach stacker, not the Hyster. The Hyster is the trade name. It's a company name like Toyota. Okay, good. Spreaders. As I told you, the spreader alone can be imported and they attach ropes and strings. So if they have any other things that can mobilize the lifting or positioning or whatever way they want to handle the container, they can still do it without the reach stacker. You see, so this is the spreader. They will enable it from here, then put strings or modern mechanized way, then something else can be using it to handle the container. So without the reach stacker, the port can still import spreaders alone. But it's not as efficient and swift and records good economic time and economic use. No. These are the ones we never, and I don't know when we shall see it in Ghana. You see how they work? So they carry the box in between their legs and they move very fast. The speed at which they move and turn around is not that of the gantry crane. No. Yeah. So they are not mounted on any rail. They move in the port just like we are driving a vehicle very fast around the port. Yes, so that's how you see the cargo. You see, they pick the container. So they only drive to where the trucks are parked. Then they drive. They have got the measurements that the truck is narrower than them. They only drop. Then the truck is now within their legs. They drop the box. Then they move out and go for another box. By the time they come, different number of trucks have lined up. Very fast and very economical. Yes.
But with this, it seems it has a disadvantage.
What's the disadvantage?
The container has to sit alone on the ground or at the top because it can't maneuver like the stacker.
It cannot maneuver stack. So the gantry cranes are used in conjunction with reach stackers. So the role a reach stacker plays for the gantry crane, they play the same role for the straddle carrier.
But is it not going to have mesh accidents?
Accident for what? Number one, are you supposed to be around those type of environment?
Let us assume that
How can they?
on the future they are accident can happen.
Very well trained professionals. And to learn it, most ports in the world are making ports ghost ports. They don't want even human beings to handle these machines. If you go to the port of Singapore, they are left with only one human being to remove. Then the port is ghost port. Very efficient, super turnaround. We are talking of port that receive vessels that are discharging or offloading about 30,000 up to about 40,000 containers per vessel. And we are here saying what? We don't need human beings there at all. Ghost port. Remotely controlled. So as of 2013, when we went there for our World Congress and we conducted the port, the tour guide said they have one more human being to eliminate. Yes, most ports have got into that. Rotterdam is a mini ghost port. Jebel Ali in Dubai is also. Most ports are trying to achieve the ghost port. You see, when we talk about port efficiency, it's not a joke. If you do port management, it's not a joke. You know, it's a huge investment. This NPS, see the money. So that's why they're not singing to this our lazy things we do in Ghana. They don't behave like that. Look at the models they've brought all of a sudden. We have now learned the various means of paying their charges. Momo, this, that made life so easy. At your doorstep, you enter their yard, you can do payments, they generate anything. If you are not in their yard, they have extended administrative office here too. You can do anything there at their site. So we are not lacking at anywhere. Restaurants are there. It's a one-stop shop. 24/7. Is that not it?
Yeah.
That's what we are talking about. If you don't have it, forget it. You can't compete. So better pray we get money to buy this. So the forklifts are not always having sharp ends. When they are going to handle delicate and fragile cargoes, that the sharpness of their edges can damage. We call something blinds. We put it on the shop, then those ones have got blind ends. So no matter what you do, the cargo will not be damaged. That we don't do at Golden Jubilee in Ghana. We are unstuffing vehicles from containers that they charge me for. They are using forklifts with sharp ends, and they are always punching and destroying our tanks that contains engine oil or petrol, or even cause a lot of dents. And when they cause it, you want to put in claims, then the supervisor or the manager calls you aside to give it to human face, begging you not to make it official. No. So forklifts, yes, the forks are there sharp so that it easily goes, but they are normally put blinds when they are handling certain specialized cargo or commodity. Please, this, I'm sorry, this is the way. I've done my best to get a very legible pictures all over the internet. So these are the parts of the container. You have to go and learn it. I will not waste time describing it if you read them. But the few ones, this we have studied here, this is the one. The back end door, we have the four pockets here. And these are the corners. These corners have got holes here. This four. That is where the wrist locker corners. When it goes in, we have a mechanism we call the twist lock. It's locked. Then it can handle it so that it's very safe and assured. When traveling from certain distance, they don't fall off, but it can fall off. Accident is an accident. That's the risk we've taken to work in that dangerous environment. So we have got the various parts. But if you read, the notes are very clear. It's only the picture. So I do examine my students and they're able to answer them, describing the parts. When I said cite 4 or 5 or 6 parts of a standard container and explain their purpose or uses, the notes are there, they are very clear. Okay, so that this is the parts of a standard container. Go through them. We are here for some few days again. You don't understand something, come back, let's all discuss it. I intentionally never use this word until we go to this slide. In the standard measure for containers, when we say our intention was using ships that can carry so many containers, 20,000, 40,000. In the container trade, the language is the basis, the bottom line is the 20-footer. So they call it TEU, 20-footer equivalent. So they multiply the 40 by 2. So when they say a container, the traffic, the load is 10,000 TEUs. They are just telling you, if you count the total number of 20 footers it can carry, it should be 20,000 and 10,000. Is that not it? So we hear the language TEU, the full meaning is there, 20-foot equivalent unit. So when they said the container has dropped 80,000 TEUs, and you go and we are only seeing 40 foot. We are supposed to see only 40, not the 80. But if they were to be 20, you see the actual 80. But if it is 40, but we still measure them in TEUs. Okay, that is how the container traffic is measured. Yes, there is a measurement unit in container trade which is 20 ISO standard container. So ISO container is equivalent to, correct. Some cellular vessels are the ones purposely to carry our containers, can carry several thousand 20-foot TEUs. Yeah, it started with 40. Now you see we have maximum of 56,000 dead weight and wise. Is there now the average? So, but when it comes to the container track, maximum they should carry 2 or 140. You see the truck that we used to work, the maximum should be 2 or 140 is the same TEUs we are talking about. But you know, when the season is dry, this 40 they don't have the, not they come to you to give them the 20, and you pay them the 20 price. Meanwhile, they are going to Kumasi if we get 40 to be about double. Yeah, and we put it in the middle of the truck to balance it. So, but that is the basis. That you see that when constructing or inverting the road transporting trucks, they have also been standardized. Okay, you put it on it. Those pointed locks that are talked about in the cellular vessel, they are also on the trucks, so that when you put it on it, it's locked. Any lock we use to lock any intervention between the container and the vessel or the truck is a twist lock.